Ah, Dr. Mario. Now there's a classic puzzle game, easily uttered in the same breath as Tetris or Puyo Puyo. Since its release in 1990 on the NES and Game Boy, Dr. Mario has been re-released or adapted to pretty much every Nintendo console and handheld to date, with the exception of the Virtual Boy because, well, it stunk. The pill-dropping puzzle gameplay is impressively addictive, but if you've ever played Dr. Mario, I don't have to tell you that. For those not in the know, that one person in Northwest Utah, you know who you are. Your goal is to eliminate all the viruses in the bottle by matching 4 viruses and pills in a row of the same color. Pills of one color or a combination of 2 colors are thrown from above by Dr. Mario. Once you clear everything, you move on to the next level that throws more viruses into the mix. Most Nintendo fans are familiar with Dr. Mario, but what they might not know is that it didn't originally start out as the Dr. Mario we know today. I'll be discussing the versions of the game before the final, focusing more on the noticeable elements more than the slight technical changes. The earliest known prototype of the game comes from back in 1989, the year before the original's release, and it shows that the game was originally called Virus. Although Mario's definitely hanging out in this one. Please note that as I examine earlier prototypes, be aware that 2-player mode has been implemented, but I'm a lonely man and I don't have a buddy to test it with today. The menu is quite primitive and probably wouldn't interest anyone except for one option, Fall Down, which we'll talk about in a moment. Also, notice there's no music selection option. That's because there's no music, period. Looking at the gameplay screen, you'll notice a few things different from the final Dr. Mario we're used to. First and foremost, Princess Toadstool is nursing a sick dog with a bad cold. So, Dr. Mario's a veterinarian? The gameplay foundation is solid, but you'll also notice the lack of animation on the viruses, and the fact that they look more like Space Invaders. The pills look more basic as well, and Dr. Mario isn't quite as refined as he could be. I think he forgot his stethoscope in the car. A few other points of note. Obviously the logo in the top right is Virus, and it's ugly. The clipboard in the top left is magenta, not yellow as in the final build, and instead of showing your speed level, the game just keeps track of how many pills are dropped in the vial. Oh, and the background is pretty dull too. Now, about that fall down option from the menu. If you choose to turn it off, pill halves you don't immediately make disappear just hang there. While it certainly adds a new level of strategy to the game, it's also a pain in the butt to deal with. So Nintendo wisely removed it from the final game. Fiddling around with the game's code can bring it back, but we're not doing that. The next prototype comes from February of 1990, and not a lot has changed. The title screen still has that awful logo, but it says push start now. I would have had no idea what to do. The boring menu now shows 2 additional slots with nothing in them. There's a dot after the word norm, but yeah, it's not very important. Notice there's no hard mode yet. Most other elements are still the same, although, hey look, the viruses are animated, woohoo! A third prototype was found in 2012 within the bowels of a PlayChoice 10 arcade cabinet. PlayChoice 10 was unique in that you could load and play multiple NES games and let players choose their game in an arcade. For starters, the logo has seen a significant overhaul, but it's still as attractive as burnt toast. But the background checkerboard pattern is starting to come to full fruition. Yeah! But looky here, the menu is also blossoming into something usable, although the speed is referred to as the sick level, as in, this is a sick level, bruh. And oh, music! They don't have hip names yet, but it's better than nothing. In the gameplay field, things are starting to look like what we're used to. Dr. Mario still looks kinda stumpy though, but at least we have proper viruses on the left. They don't shuffle around much, but I'm glad to see them. What's up with that yellow virus's mouth? The magnifying glass doesn't have a handle yet, and it's a weird oval shape. And that logo is UGLY. It ain't got no alibi. It ugly. Something unique to this version is the bonus meter. It counts down as you play, where you earn extra points the more quickly you clear the screen. Oh yeah! You also might not notice, but the playfield is actually 1 line of pills longer. Plus, when you win, the message is in cute little boxes. Note, no cutscenes are present in this build, or any previous build. Fast forward to April 27th, 1990, and we're getting pretty close to being on par with the final release, save for a few changes. On the title screen, there's a blue virus in an odd spot, as opposed to Dr. Mario and a virus in the final. Why is there a space here? While playing, you'll notice Dr. Mario is still a bit more rotund, and the yellow virus now has a proper mouth instead of a snoot. There are other things you may or may not notice, such as the high score being raised to 10,000 points, and the total number of points amping up tenfold to 9,999,999, there is one more prototype later on where the title screen is fixed and Dr. Mario's logo now has a trademark symbol during gameplay, but that's about it. And that leads us to the Dr. Mario we know and love today, and its many iterations, from the NES all the way to the most recent release, Dr. Mario World for mobile. But leave it to random internet strangers to make their own, let's call it unique versions of the game. What is this? What is this? Whoa! Thanks for watching. If you have retro hype of your own, consider dropping a like, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment. Yeah!